And in November, a week before Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, there is an expectation that we recognize how wonderful. This time of year, we are told we should be grateful. Gratitude, it's a cultural obligation. Thinking about how to be thankful can feel like a fluffy piece of Thanksgiving vacation homework. One you know how to do, and you can easily accomplish with a real list of your people, places, and things. And yet, because it's an expectation, more like moral medicine than your personal choice, it can be more in your head than in your heart and in your soul. Now, friends, I know some of you might have noticed the insert in your order of service, and you might be wondering if this preacher-teacher just gave you homework. Please know that you do not have the full assignment yet, and that there is no wrong answers. The truth is that nurturing gratitude is not a fluffy piece of vacay homework. It is actually a real-life science experiment. The powerful science experiment is one that attempts to change the hardwiring of your brain, all of our brains. Why? Well, because your brain, 3 pounds of tissue looking a little bit like a squishy cauliflower, is often considered to be the most complex physical object known to science. And it has evolved to be a pessimist. What does a pessimistic person focus on? That's a question. What does a pessimistic person focus on? What's going wrong? Yeah, what's going wrong? What's negative, right? The negative brain bias of ours, well, it's kept us alive. It's part of our survival instincts. Our survival counts on us remembering what went wrong. We need to remember to avoid angry animals with sharp parts and to stay away from bitter plants, as they are frequently poisonous. It turns out our brains, they're naturally grumpy. It's not just you, all of us. All of us have kind of wet blanket brains that keep us motivated to avoid taking risks that might cause us harm. Austin's experience as a young person at church taught him to stay clear of faith community. His brain learned the lesson and reminded him, keep out. Our bummer brains, they're cautious, they're protective, and powerful. And because of this, our brains can make us feel lousy, crummier than we need to be, crummier than is good for us. We need to remember and focus on we tend to remember and focus on what went wrong more frequently and longer than all of the other parts of our life that are going well. Raise your hand if you've ever found yourself at an end of an ordinary day reviewing over and over and over again all the small comments or actions that went slightly off or just didn't sit quite right with you. Raise your hand. Yeah. See, we have grumpy brains. Thank you. It's your brain. It's trying to foresee any danger that might be ahead, and maybe it's making you worry too much. We are more sensitive to negative experiences than to positive ones. Though it's keeping your body safe, that kind of spiraling, well, it might hurt your heart. The science experiment is all about rebalancing your brain and caring for your heart. At the beginning of our story today, 10 Beautiful Things, the girl Lila is focused on fears about her unknown home. Feeling hopeless, she states, "There's nothing beautiful here." On their journey, her grandmother is offering a way to be present to beauty through a hard experience. "You might be surprised," she tells Lila, right before the sun breaks over the horizon. And isn't it that how it is sometimes? Life sometimes pulling you out of your negative thoughts to be present to what is in front of you. Gratitude is sometimes served best in small doses of the here and the now. Whatever your heart carried into this sanctuary today, there is a chance you might be able to find something in the now to be grateful for. Perhaps it's the music. Perhaps it's the simple beauty of this space, or just a quiet time to reflect. So we're going to begin our science experiment. On that insert in your order of service, there is something called My Gratitude List. And there are 3 sections: people, places or things, and experiences. Online folks, you might want to get yourself a piece of paper and a pencil to write with. And I ask you to take a moment and write down or draw something that you are grateful for. If you need something to write with, we have extra baskets of pencils. And if you raise your hand, one of our amazing ushers will bring you a pencil. I see 2 folks. You can keep writing. I'm going to keep talking. Scientists right here in Wisconsin, Richard Davison, a psychologist and psychiatry professor at the University of Madison, Wisconsin, and Antoine Lutz have findings that indicate that mental training to increase compassion and kindness has profound effects on brain function. The results suggest that being a positive person or a negative person, it's not fixed and can be improved through practice. Because our brains are like Velcro for negative experience and Teflon for positive ones, our science experiment goal is to use practice so that we reroute the neural pathways of our very powerful brains to make us healthier and more joyful people. Science has proven that gratitude improves your health. An article by Melissa Madison, PhD, entitled The Neuroscience of Gratitude and Its Effects on the Brain, states that gratitude regulates the sympathetic nervous system that helps us worry less and filter out negative spiraling thoughts to focus on positive ones. The limbic system is the part of the brain responsible for all our feeling experiences. And that includes neural pathway rewards and your hypothalamus, hypothalamus. That can boost your serotonin and activate the brainstem to produce dopamine, which of course improves your mood and makes us feel good. Who wants to feel good? Well, gratitude, it's a spiritual practice. It's a catalyst, a tool to help us recenter our mind and heart. So since we want to feel good, I ask you again, take a moment. This time, write down an experience that you are grateful for. Your brain has the ability to constantly change in response to experiences, a process called neuroplasticity. This allows us to learn and adapt and to keep growing throughout our lives. Now, Jesus and Moses and Muhammad and Gandhi and Buddha, they all had brains essentially built like ours, and yet they were able to harness their thoughts and shape their patterns of thinking in ways that changed history. According to the book Buddha's Brain, The Practical Neuroscience of Happiness, Love, and Wisdom by Rick Hansen. Our experiences and our responses together shape our hearts and minds. Now, personally, as I have been preparing for this service, soaking myself in gratitude practice, I have also been in the process of moving. And it turns out we are leaving a home that we have lived at longer than any other. We are entrenched, friends. And we are deeply grateful for the privilege of being able to find and afford a new home, one closer to my ministry work here at First Church. And moving kind of stinks. A lot, in all the ways. All your things are rearranged and put in boxes if you're lucky. Everything gets a little topsy-turvy. It's stressful on the family. Responsibilities multiply and multiply and multiply until the big day, and then it's just transition. And I know I am grateful, but on the regular, I have certainly not been sporting an attitude of gratitude this past month. Yet, I have found it helpful to be leaning into nurturing thankfulness as we shift our whole reality, our whole home. It is our ritual at dinner each night to hold hands and to name what we are grateful for that day. And during Grace at Dinner, we began to thank our home, our house, for all that it's provided us. We lived there through COVID, many winters, and some amazing yard games. By the way, I won most of those yard games, and I'm grateful for that too. Yet there are many days that I have been mad or sad or scared, and I have felt the urge to resist being grateful at our dinner, at this ritual. But because it is our practice, when I sit with my beloveds at dinner, I do remember the blessings, and I share them, and it does make it better. It turns out it's real hard to be mad and thankful at the same time. Since gratitude is like a muscle that we need to stretch and grow, let's stretch our bodies. Maybe stretch our hands, stretch our fingers, our neck and head. While we're doing this, consider someone beloved to you that you are thankful for, and write it down on your gratitude list when you're done stretching. In this season of high demand gratitude, how can we remain authentic in our gratitude? We do not have to be grateful every moment for everything to make the science experiment of recentering our minds and our brains work. Perhaps if we approach gratitude practice like a child might navigate a Thanksgiving meal. Children rarely seem to feel the need to be grateful for everything presented to them at a meal. They can be picky, discerning, authentic, and often they choose their comfort food. Start by evaluating what was on your table that day. There are many choices, yet what might seem grand to one person might not be the thing your heart desires. Cranberry sauce, anyone? A day can be full of both congratulations and sorrows, but maybe what makes your heart sing might be something small, like the perfect bite of mashed potatoes with a gravy and a smidge of butter too. Or maybe it's just the sun shining through a window. The mundane stuff, the small blessings like stickers and sweet smells and a cozy sweater, can be your serving of appreciation. Let gratitude sneak up on you and make it a practice to notice the small stuff. We're returning to our science experiment once again. Add a small stuff thing to your gratitude list right now. Recently, I was at my dear friend Moises' birthday celebration with a group of his friends, He did not request gifts, but instead our meal together, he asked us to share something we had been grateful for in that year. And each person around the table earnestly shared a personal story, a deeply personal story about risk and fear, and then their kind of success. And they weren't easy stories, but they were authentic ones. And out of the struggles came gratitude for a journey. And I was struck by how the sharing shifted the connections and the conversations. We went from strangers to friends just a little bit faster. Expressing how thankful we are to others, sharing this with one another is another way we can build connections and community together. It seems like we could do that right now since you have a list full of gratitude things. So please turn to the people around you, your pew mates, and share something from your list or something new that you are grateful for. If it's too long, they won't reply. All right. If I let you go too long, you won't ever quiet down. I know. Save the rest for coffee hour, everybody. All right. I'm glad you're so grateful, but we're not quite done. The best relationship advice that I ever received was from a couple who were celebrating their 25th anniversary. And at that time, I was newly engaged, like that same summer, newly engaged. So I asked them, what's your secret for a strong relationship and staying together through all of it? And what they told me was surprisingly simple. Thank each other a lot and often for the small stuff, like picking up around the house and doing laundry and lawn care and definitely childcare and everything. It helps. Make a habit of it. For the big stuff too, say thank you more than once, even if they should know you're thankful already, even if you've already thanked them. Thank them again. Thank them again. This kind of expression of your gratitude has a doubling effect on your mind and heart as well as your beloveds. It works for all kinds of relationships too, with parents, with children, with neighbors, with friends, and more. It can become a habit that defines you and your relationship with one another, shaping those neural pathways to support positive interactions grounded in love. So, turn to the people around you. I know this is risky, once again, and thank them for sharing your gratitude with you today. The practice will make us stronger and healthier and happier. You're welcome. I cannot keep this light on today. All right. In this fragile moment we are in this fragile moment we are in, witnessing democracy's erosion and the rise of authoritarianism and persecution and fear and so much more, it is hard to have an attitude of gratitude, and that is vital that we figure it out how to do it. We need all of us in this fight. Each of us has a part, and we need to take care of each other, for each other. The good news is that by acknowledging our fears and anxieties while taking purposeful action, We can navigate turmoil with greater calm and effectiveness. Though challenges remain, we have the power to shape our response and contribute to positive change. Joy is an act of resistance. Nurturing gratitude is a way to resist. To briefly get joy, even when it's hard, even when the solutions are not obvious, is a way to return to the cycle of gratitude that sustains us. The smallest wonder can bring us back to the present, back to remembering that the blessings are also embedded in the complicated life we live. Buddha's last words were directions to his followers, instructions on how to carry on after he was gone. He gathered the followers around and encouraged them to continue practicing everything they had learned. His words can be translated into, I was only able to point the way for you. All individual things pass. Strive on with diligence. Be a lamp unto yourself. Be a refuge to yourself. Take yourself to no external refuge. With these last words, Buddha reminds them he was just a guide, that all things change, and urges them to continue practicing, because practicing leads to liberation from suffering. Buddha tells them there is no savior outside of them. And finally, Buddha reminds them and us that we can be sources of life to ourselves. We can take care of ourselves. We can find a way forward that sustains the complicated blessing of life through practice and perseverance. I like the simpler translation by Stephen Bachner, an author, who says, things fall apart. Tread the path with care. Now, I do not think Buddha knew much about the science of gratitude, but he did know that life was a temporary gift. A life you may not feel you have chosen, yet it is your gift, your light to manage. I use music often to manage my own light, as it is a powerful emotional conduit. And the song Feeling Good, as sung by Nina Simone, has been on my go-to playlist for a long time now. Perhaps yours as well. For a long time, I put it on every single mixtape and CD I made. It is important to know that that song, Feeling Good, is not just about a mood in the moment. Feeling Good is a song of liberation. And when Nina Simone made it great, she was choosing joy over despair, choosing to love this world and all its complications. So many miracles have happened in order for us to be here in this moment of faith community together today. If we can find joy, even in the mundane and imperfect, then we live our lives as if we are lucky, regardless of what luck comes our way. When we feel gratefulness deeply, it is a real antidote for the heart. Your gratitude list now, it still has a lot of space, and that is your optional homework. The science is real, and Buddha was wise. May we each find the courage to seek gratitude, to tend our light, grow appreciation for others, and center love above all else. Blessed be, and amen.